Good morning. Market Day Report is on the air. So glad you're with us today on a Friday. It's the final trading day of the week, final trading day of the month. And then we get a 3-day holiday, just a weekend just to celebrate it, right? Labor Day on Monday. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of time off somewhere along this weekend. What about the markets? Markets are not taking off today. They traded in the overnight session, and the corn market in higher territory. The old crop up 2 3/4 cents. A couple of pennies higher on the new crop, trading at 4.12. Soybean trade overnight in the red, 10.44 3/4, down 3 1/4 cents. Wheat market will roll through this with the soft red at 5.10 3/4, half penny higher. Hard red or Kansas City, penny and a quarter lower, 4.85 1/2. Spring wheat and those contracts mostly lower. Cotton market, New York, finishing that overnight session at 66.86, down 44. Well, how do we set up and trade the day? Brian Hoops is president. Midwest Market Solutions. Brian, what are you watching here today?
Hey, welcome back, Tony. Good to see you back. Hope you had a good time away from the office. So we're coming back with a little bit lower soy prices and a little bit higher corn. Now, yesterday, corn posted an outside reversal type day, so we're seeing follow through buying because of that, lifting us higher. Also, exports that were announced yesterday, very strong. We're at the second fastest pace in history for corn, and we only trail the record pace by 20 million bushels. So we could easily make that up, in over the next several months. So corn's off to a great start as far as exports go. Technically, there's some buying coming into the marketplace. Now, the weather forecasts do talk about a little bit better rain chances for the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, maybe northern Missouri. These areas certainly could use a finishing drop of rain to help this soybean crop fill out those pods. It might be a little bit too late for the corn. It's starting to dent already, but soybeans would absorb that moisture and fill those pods out. So it would really be beneficial, and that's what's putting pressure against the soy complex overnight. Deliveries were very limited across the board, so they're really not having much of an effect. Of course, it's a 3-day weekend coming up. No grain trade Sunday night or Monday. We'll resume Monday evening at 7 p.m. And that is going to influence a lot of trade decisions as well, whether traders want to take those positions into a 3-day weekend. The dollar's been a little bit firmer here this morning, putting some pressure against that wheat market that's enjoyed some really good rains over the hard red wheat belt this week. Kansas, Oklahoma, and down into parts of Arkansas received some really great rains that'll help that seed bed get prepared when they start planting the winter wheat crop here in a few weeks.
Yeah, we're just rolling through the 1-month chart of both Chicago and Kansas City, getting an idea of where we've been over the past 30 days. Okay, Brian, hang on. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment, and we'll talk livestock futures. Could we see another record high today? Find out. Market Day Report continues in a moment. So when we talk about live cattle, or fat cattle, we call them fat cattle. I don't really know why we changed it from fat cattle to live cattle. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. However, when we're watching that front month contract, what we're trying to do is figure out where the cash is going to settle when that contract expires. Now, the August contract yesterday fell over $5 to $2.38 a hundredweight. That contract will expire at the end of the session today. So trying to give us an idea of where cash is going to go to wrap up this week. We have the feeder contracts, and look at September at 362.05, down 335. And the October lower as well. Now, remember, we hit, what was it, 370 was our all-time high that we clipped. That was on the September contract earlier in the week. So we'll find out whether or not market wants to try to run that back up. Hog trade higher across the board. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. Hey, Brian, did I explain that in a way that is accurate?
Absolutely, you did. You did a great job, Tony. So,
Thank
hog
you.
market, yeah, hog market yesterday. We're discount to the cash, the futures are, and we're discount to the lean hog index. October's narrowing that discount as we're trying to rally, but the cash keeps improving because we have strong exports. Exports announced yesterday were an 8-week high for pork, and a lot of that is going to Mexico. And they're our number one buyer by far and away. They continue to be strong buyers, and they have a real appetite for pork as they're not producing enough in their own country, so they're buying from the United States. So hog market really starting to move higher. Now the cattle was lower yesterday. We've talked last couple of days about this cattle box beef market. We have a lot of buying that has been done for the Labor Day holiday. Of course, that's probably completed now. And will the cutout values start to turn lower after that demand has subsided? Well, they were mixed to lower, and they may take another step lower here today or early part of next week. Now, the cash trade pretty limited, but we did see some in the Southern Plains at least $1 to $2 higher. Northern trade on a live basis was at 245, so you're looking at steady to maybe slightly higher than a week ago. Cash trade, nothing wrong with it this week. It's in the couple next coming weeks where cash could start to soften up. Packers have small kill next week, which should be supportive for boxes. But after that, we're looking at maybe a little softer demand, and maybe these cash markets start to soften up a little bit. But demand so far have been red hot, especially in the feeder cattle market, where Oklahoma City had a big auction this week. Other sale barns have been very strong. That feeder cattle index really soared higher this week. Going into expiration yesterday, it gained $14 in a week. That's just almost unheard of to see that type of movement in that index.
Yeah, it could be an interesting day in the livestock markets. Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions.